Hello and welcome to Five Dudes Discuss. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Blind Brook High School and how to thrive and survive. Today, we're going to be covering two of the most basic topics, friendship and social life, as well as general academics. With us today, as always, we have Tommy Hansen, Dylan Desvernine, Michael Collati,
Hello.
Austin Collati,
Hi.
and me, Adam Newmark. Now, to give us a little bit of perspective about high school, we're all seniors. We've all been through all of our testing and classes, and we're almost out the door. So, to give a little bit better perspective, we're all going to go around really quickly and give a little bit of an intro about our high school lives.
Alright, so I'm going to start off. I'm Tommy Hansen. I took 7 AP classes at Blind Brook High School, including AP Bio, AP Physics, and AP Calc. I'm going to University of Rochester as an undecided science major, and I really like cats.
It's cool.
I'm Adam Newmark. Again, hello. I've taken 4 AP classes at Blind Brook. I'm going to Skidmore College in the fall. I've been a large part of theater at high school, Blind Brook. Many people know that. So that's a little bit about me.
Now it really bumps off. I'm Dylan. I took 1 AP my senior year, and no sports, no extracurriculars. I'm going to Penn State, undecided. That's all.
Woo!
Alright, so I'm Michael Collati, and I took an intro to an AP class, which was Intro Psychology. And in the fall, I'll be going to Rochester Institute of Technology.
Alright. I'm Austin. I've taken no form of higher educational class whatsoever. Did a little bit of theater with tech stuff. Going to SUNY Oswego for English studies in the fall, so English is my jam. No sports. Not a sport dude. And
None of
yeah.
us were.
Well, no, I did ski team.
Honest. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, sure.
One of us is
Some
athletic.
sports.
Yeah.
I did jam, does that count?
Physical education is an important aspect
It is.
of your high school education.
Indeed.
Alright, so I guess to get on to our first point, we're going to take it to Tommy with the APs and the studying.
Alright, so like I said, I took 7 AP classes. My advice, don't take that many. They're hard.
So you wouldn't if you could redo it?
Yes, I would actually take less. Specifically, what I would do is I would take only the APs that actually interested me. So for example, this year I took AP Gov. And no offense to Marco, who's an amazing teacher, and no offense to the class either, it's a good class, it didn't interest me. And so as a result, it was really hard. It took a lot more effort than it needed to. So going back, I would have taken something else that interested me more. Like, maybe AP Psych, which is something I wanted to do as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also on that topic, in my junior year, I took AP Physics. That I would also say is a mistake. Again, no disrespect to Mr. Glickman, great teacher, and the class itself is not a problem with the class itself. It is doable. It's just that taking it as a junior with no physics beforehand and only taking pre-calc at the same time, you simply don't have enough math background. So unless you're, say, a year ahead in math and you're taking calculus at the same time, I was just waiting a bit on AP Physics.
Now, to add to that, I took AP Physics this year, my senior year. I took Regents Physics my junior year while I was doing pre-calc, and so I was doing regular calc alongside AP Physics. And even with the background knowledge of Regents Physics, it is still a highly challenging class. And I do have to agree with Tommy about the APs, and you really should go for APs that you are interested in. In junior year, I took AP Psych, which I loved. I loved Miss Hensley. She's a great teacher. She teaches an amazing class. And I think that a big key about APs is being not so much passionate, but at least interested in the topic, because that will make the work a lot easier.
Yeah, especially for
absolutely.
AP Psychology. You had to study a lot for those tests, and you don't want to study something that you have zero interest in. It just makes it so
Yes.
much easier.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, looking from the outside in, you can definitely see by students who really love the AP class, really they show it. They go in there. What I've seen when talking to people, they go in, they talk about it, it's excited. Versus a student who's not really liking it and really shouldn't be there. They're kind of strutting along with their head down. You can really tell.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Most people can be very easy to tell if you're
Yeah.
into it or not.
Yeah.
And plus the whole like studying what you like thing outside of APs, it's about like it branches off to a lot more things. Like I really do well in like senior year comparative literature because I really loved what we were talking about, and it's like my top class because I loved what we did, even down to writing the long essays.
Same with me. I completely
I, for
agree.
one, disliked it, but we're all different people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
diversity.
depends on what you really like and what you want to do.
It really does.
Yeah. And also on that, as well as making, liking a class, making it easier and making the work more enjoyable, it also gives you a lot less stress, which I think
Yeah.
what we should talk about now is APs, because they're a lot of work, they can give you a lot of stress.
I mean, not just APs. Any class really can give you
True.
stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
APs are
Yeah.
just, you're expected to have stress. But
Yes.
really, any class that gives you trouble will give you stress.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which, I mean, in any part of high school and college as well, you're going to have to deal with stress and find ways to deal with getting your work done, even if you're stressed and under the weather. And
Yeah. It's not a walk in the park. It's not at all easy.
And while it's not easy, it is still doable.
Yeah.
It's still 100% doable.
And if you really like it, you can really have fun doing it.
Yeah.
I was able to manage one AP very well.
Yeah.
Versus someone who managed 7.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi. Although while I still managed 7, it was not an enjoyable experience by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of, hours put in, not behind the scenes, but, it's a lot of hours put in at home. It's a lot of time, trying to organize, say, a study group, doing, practice tests, all the stuff that you would do for studying for a normal class, but normally plus some.
Question. Do you think that like a lot of the stress comes from like a lack of or like not being organized?
Yes, I feel like being organized also helps a lot. I myself am not the most organized person,
Same.
to the disappointment of many people, including my parents. You do not want to see my room at any point in time.
Senior year, I had just a one folder in my backpack that I would put every sheet I got
See, I'm
in
very
chronological order, so I know like when it was,
See, I'm
how
different.
far I should
I'm
go
like-
back to get each sheet.
I think I'm not over organized, but I have a system that works for me, and like that really helped me. Like even with like my harder classes, having the organization like would make me feel so happy knowing that like even if like I'm not doing the best, I at least know what I'm doing and like how it's put out. I feel like
Right.
organization really is key to having success.
And I think it's really not so difficult to be organized. I mean, I know some people are extremely organized and they have everything in labeled sections and they know everything.
It's color-coded.
But, exactly. And yes, that's great. For example, in AP Physics, if you had, binder dividers for each section, yeah, that'd be great. But a very easy way is if you have just a binder for each class, that is just a very quick way to be organized. It really isn't that
you don't have
difficult.
to be like you don't need to have like such an over organized attitude about it, but don't be the kid who like shoves papers in his backpack and pulls out these crumpled things of homework.
Nothing was
know,
crumpled.
Nah, I'm not
Yeah,
talking
no.
about you.
Yeah, no,
It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and also it's important to keep in mind that not everybody, has the same way to keep organized.
Yeah.
Like we've said, some people, they have to be organized. They have to have, the
Right.
big binder with the divided sections, and they have to have, a folder for each class, whatever. Not everyone's like that.
Yeah,
You know, not everyone, can just like have the mental energy to keep that up.
Yeah, you should really find your own way to stay organized that works perfectly for you, and that will really help you get through your classes easy.
Yeah, definitely.
But you still have to stay, you have to stick to that. You can't just,
Yeah.
give up halfway through the year and be like, organization, I don't need
Yeah.
that.
You have to make a commitment to that.
Yeah, you need to
And-
be commitment for everything, really.
Totally.
I
yes.
think another point about organization is a lot of the times, especially as you get older in, as you go further into high school, go into maybe higher up classes and even in college, teachers and professors won't be reminding you about assignments and things that you have to turn in or worksheets or whatever. So having that organization, knowing where everything is, can also be a key in just achieving
Anything.
anything in the class and helping you get on your way.
Yeah.
And also, on that, with teachers not always reminding you about assignments. I, for one, really don't like the school planners that we get every year. So personally, I have not used that since, I think, sophomore year. But something I would definitely recommend is make your own substitute for that. Don't just, not write down all your assignments somewhere, because you will forget one, and you will then have to face your teacher on, the due date and be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Unless maybe that works for you, then use it.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, use it. It's
Absolutely.
a free resource, practically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know me, I used to like it, but then, as I got older, a lot of my systems changed, and I used, I think the last time I used it was, the second day of junior year. So what I did was I actually, bought my own little planner, one that I liked because of how it was set up and stuff, and if you're like that, do that, No one's going to judge you for having your own organizer,
Yeah, like me, I transferred to using actually the calendar on my phone, and that's worked well. I'm able to set reminders for things I think I might forget. I can put my tests on there easily. I can just pull everything up at once, and so that works for me, and that's much better than just trying to remember all of it in your head, because you will forget something,
Right,
and that'll be a bad time.
Yeah.
Right.
Another point about being organized, you should definitely organize logically. You know what I mean? Be smart about it. Don't just, have folders and don't label them. I know, I'm not going to name names, but there's someone who I know who bought colored folders, but didn't actually, say or have a key to what they were, and they actually didn't remember what the folders meant.
So they were just throwing things.
They were just throwing things in random places, and that's not good. That's just an excuse.
Don't
I
do that,
feel
yeah.
like.
Don't do that.
Organization also is good for your work too. Aside from being organized in where you keep things and how, organize how you work. Let's say if for homework, for example, let's say you have something really long that you have to get done, but you don't like doing it versus something fast and that you would enjoy. Do the faster, more enjoyable thing first. Get that out of the way and then work your way up. It's definitely good because it keeps you less stressed, and it obviously works when it comes to mapping out your day after school in terms of getting all your work done.
And also, sorry, go.
Okay. Well, I also think another important point of the organizing your work is someone like me, if I have a huge project or a ton of work ahead of me, what may end up happening is on, Sunday morning when I'm supposed to work on it, I'll look at all the work I have to do, get extremely stressed out about all the work I have to do, and essentially shut down for a few hours and not do any work.
Yeah.
So I think a very important thing about organizing work, and you can make a schedule, you can organize your work however you want to, but you have to stick to it. And I think one of the most important things about doing work is just doing it. If you just start, you may actually find that you'll just start doing it, because especially if you're at that point where it's Sunday night at 8 o'clock and you have all this work to do that's due tomorrow. Yeah, you should have been working all day. That's not important right then. What you just need to do is you just need to sit down and start grinding.
Yeah, and once you find the grind, I know I'm like this, once you start working and get the ball rolling, it will roll a lot faster. You will be able to work more once you've started, because starting's really the hardest part of it.
Watches Netflix, remembers all the work you have to do,
Right.
continues to watch that
Yeah.
successfully.
Exactly.
Yep.
And
Just
also,
start it.
and also with organizing your grind. Also don't just grind continuously. Take a break every
Take
once in a
breaks.
while.
Right, yeah.
Don't just burn yourself out working for 8 hours straight.
Yeah, I don't think I could manage 8 hours, but
Well, no.
I feel like 4
Overworking
is
is
fine, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's
just
different.
Don't overwork, because that's
Yeah,
not
right.
always
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah. Like don't use your breaks as an excuse to not get your work done. Don't take a half-hour break every hour.
Yeah.
But, say, a 5-minute break, just get up, walk around, maybe make some tea, drink some water.
Yeah, overload is actually, that's a good transition.
Overload is a bad thing too. I know I'm very different. I have I like to call them work tolerances. Some people can work for 2 hours until they're tired. Some people can work for 5 minutes. I can probably go about an hour until I need to take at least 5 minutes to myself to step back and recollect.
I actually do something cool, something like that. If I have something in my mind that I want to do, while I'm studying, instead of nagging myself about that, like, hey, I really want to do that. No, but I'm studying. I'll just do it to get it over with and like have some fun instead of thinking about
But,
it.
you know, if you really need to, you can even make a schedule to how to plan out when you want to study for a test or anything really.
I mean, yeah, that goes back to being organized.
Yeah.
The organized man is the smart man, really.
Yes.
And also with studying for tests, always study for a test. Even if you think you know it, look over something. Maybe you forgot, some small thing that might be
Yeah, don't walk in
short
there.
answer.
Don't walk in there with no studying.
Yeah.
You'll just end up with like an F.
Make time to study. Don't not study.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Even if you're studying,
Don't not study.
Yes.
even if you're studying, it's just looking over your notes for 10 minutes. Having it in your mind again before taking the test will help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another thing that's important is sleep.
Yes,
Yes.
I was actually about
Yes.
to say, studying, don't overstudy, because if you are up at 2 a.m. studying, there is probably a good chance that is doing you no good.
You're not,
Yeah.
No one wins when you don't sleep. Like that.
And even not even just with studying, with getting work done, if you aren't, if you have a project due the next day and you're up at 2:30 and you have a test the next day, you're not even studying for that test, you're working on this project, then that's just no good at all.
No, it's not.
You're
Yeah,
gonna take
like
the L on that.
yeah, like something that I really took to heart is something that Miss Hensley told me this year, right before the final for AP Bio, which is a very hard final, is that like we said, sleep, get sleep. Your sleep is going to be more important than your studying the very night before the exam. So even if you've done no studying whatsoever, end your studying by, say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Just say, even if I'm not done, I'm going to stop then and I'm going to sleep. And I'm going to get good sleep.
I think
Because that will help you.
Yeah, I think that would be healthy.
Yeah,
But it definitely worked for me to just study from 7 to like 12.
Right.
And
But
then,
but the thing is
absolutely.
if you set that time limit, if I haven't done that a lot in my high school career, thankfully, but when I have, it's usually been, I've looked at the clock and said, okay, at 1 a.m, I'm done. And,
Yeah.
I think that's
Because
very important.
timing really plays a key in your
Right.
studying.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
Because you don't want to just like go and go and go. Because like the
Yeah.
farther you go, the more tired you will get,
And just the
less-
worse the studying will
Yeah,
end
it
up.
won't-
just not
and
accomplishing anything after
Remember
that.
less and less how to keep studying.
Yeah,
And so with that, it's important if you just set that time limit and, when you reach there, you could just say to yourself, I did what I could. And it's not an excuse to stop your studying. People shouldn't just use that to blow off time. You use that and then you say, okay, I did my best I could. I'm tired. I need to sleep or else this is going to do me no good. If you really are that nervous, you could maybe wake up half an hour earlier if, you need that time
need it, yeah.
and
Right.
just refresh your brain in the morning. That might help you more than staying up that extra half
Yeah, it's really about rehearsal. Because, like, before the tests that I would have, let's say, 8th period, I would study at various points throughout that school day.
yeah.
And then just rehearse all that information.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you will have frees. You should definitely use those frees for work if you can.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And also, speaking about having frees, definitely have one. Like, don't take
Yeah.
9
Yeah.
classes in a day. Have a lunch period. Have some time during the day when you can, relax, unwind a little bit, eat some food.
Even in addition to a lunch, just
Right.
another
For like
free.
my senior year schedule, when I was figuring it out in my junior year, I was still taking challenging class. It wasn't like I took a break. I took AP Physics and AP Lang my senior year, but also in my schedule, I got a lunch and a free every day. And I think that's just important to kind of have that
you need
time.
that time.
Right. Everyone, I think an important thing that really no one ever says or teaches in high school, except for Miss Hensley, is that really your mental health is way more important than any grade you will receive.
Yes.
Right, yes.
And I think that really needs to kind of be at the front of everyone's mind when they're doing all this work
People
and all
don't
this
know
stress.
how important sleep is for
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
until you take
Right.
it.
Another good key to learning all this, just take AP Psych.
Yeah.
You'll learn all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Not
intro to
everything.
Psych. Intro to Psych is a good class.
Even
It
if
is
you
fun.
don't learn it, have friends who take it. That way, it kind of like osmosis
Yeah,
to you.
that's
Yeah,
also
because that's the word.
that's also a good point. Course selection.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, not taking AP Psych is definitely like one of my only regrets of like high school, and especially because there are APs that I definitely would have rather to not take. Like I said, AP Gov this year, I really just didn't enjoy the topic. I'm just not a politics person. And it's good. I learned that now, and I'm not going to make the mistake again in college. But I could have used that period and taken AP Psych. Or last year I took AP Lit, AP English Lit. Dr. Kenyon, great teacher. But I'm not Austin. I'm not a writer.
Yeah.
So the class, it really just didn't go well.
There were so many people in AP Psychology that had no interest in the class and hated being there. And of course, they didn't succeed as much as somebody that was interested in the class.
Because they did not care.
Yeah, and that's not even shot at their intellect or their academic ability.
Yeah.
It's just not being interested in the class makes it so much harder
Yeah.
to do well.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
okay
Yeah.
to also take an elective that you're interested in, even if it's not for your college transcript. We all took, what was that class?
American cuisine.
American cuisine, yeah.
What a great
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Great
just fun.
class.
Fun
Yeah.
class, yeah.
Yeah, and actually, there's a couple of good things about it. It was a great class because we were all in there together. So it was
Friends!
just a bunch of friends together. And we're cooking, so we're also learning how to cook, which
Yeah.
is a
also
great
like
thing.
I found it therapeutic in a way because
Yo,
like
absolutely.
Yeah.
I would come from like, what was it? I have to remember.
This was junior year.
Just a
right?
year
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would come. It was one of my harder classes. I would come straight from that to cook with my friends, and it's just good because it's like a breather. It's a fun class if you make it fun.
Mhm.
Having
Absolutely.
a class like that really helps like your mental health. It keeps you like
Gives you a bit of a
Calm.
break.
gives
Yeah.
you a break. That's breaks.
And you get food.
Breaks.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you get food.
And
to
you
boot.
get good food.
Yeah.
Good
Be
food.
good
that
if
you
you're- well, it depends if you're a good cook.
Yeah, well,
If you don't mess it up.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you cooked it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, another tip I would say is take all your art credits freshman year,
Freshman and
Because
sophomore.
those
Yeah, or
just-
freshman and sophomore.
or
Yeah.
freshman and sophomore, just as early as you can, really.
That way
Because
you
I
can-
remember a senior had to take photography 1 his senior year when I was taking it freshman year, and he just
And it
did
also
not enjoy that.
Another thing with the school with course selection is a lot of courses that you might be interested in might not be available to you until junior and senior year. So if you get those art credits out of the way, that actually opens up
Yeah,
more
it frees
time
up
in your
your schedule.
schedule.
Right, yeah.
Like I got all mine done freshman year and I never had to worry about it the rest of, high school. I could just pick whatever courses I might have been interested in.
Yeah.
So I think just another trick, I guess one could say about high school is, we were talking about course selection and the schedule and having freeze, is lunch and food. Food is a very important topic at any
need
point.
You need
You
food.
need food. I mean, if you have a lunch, eat lunch. If you don't have a lunch, eat lunch.
lunch.
It's pretty simple. I mean, I know a lot of people. I mean, I'm guilty of this. I don't eat breakfast in the mornings usually. I mean, I should.
We all should.
Right,
Yeah.
everyone should.
I'm guilty too. I don't eat breakfast either. I just kind of wait.
Especially if you have one of those tests, don't kill yourself studying the night before. Sleep. And then also when you wake up, eat a breakfast in the morning because it will help you even if you wake up and you don't want to eat. You know what you should do? You should eat.
You should eat.
Yes.
And also, an option with that is, and this is something I've done, is, you wake up in the morning, you're just like, I don't want to eat. So you wait till you get to school, and then you realize that, oh, hey, the school actually has some decent, morning food.
Yeah.
The muffins can actually be pretty good. The breakfast sandwiches, again, they can actually be pretty good.
The yogurt's pretty good.
Yeah.
That was my breakfast for like 4 years straight.
If you
Just the
can,
yogurts.
if you can, get coffee.
Yeah, coffee works. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
I mean, like, if coffee's the right thing for you,
If it's
Right.
a thing, yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've tried to avoid coffee because I know that if I start using coffee, I will not stop.
Caffeine is... I think that actually might be an important thing to talk about. Coffee and caffeine. If you're like a freshman, don't be drinking like 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you're a
Don't
sen-
don't
I mean, if you're a
overload
sen-
yourself.
I mean, maybe not for any grade, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I-
but the school
Yeah.
offers it.
Yeah.
I think that's just a quick
the
note.
the school cafeteria is there. Use it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
if you can use it, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so coffee, like, if you need it, say, try not to rely on it if you don't have to. Like, don't just, like, drink the caffeinated coffee, say, like, just for the taste, and you don't actually need it to wake you up, maybe go for a decaf. Don't just rely on the caffeine if you don't have to.
Healthy choices.
Healthy choices. Have
Yeah.
a salad every once in a while. Healthy
I
choices.
hate salad.
Well, don't be Dylan.
I mean,
Well,
I don't
yes.
blame. I don't blame you for not liking salad.
I mean, if you don't like
I mean,
salad-
this could be a discussion for another time about salad politics.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what really puts me to a nap? Salad. Speaking of naps, you have some things to say about that.
So, naps are a wonderful thing. Not everyone is good at napping, though. Me, I'm not good at napping because whenever I try to nap, I always oversleep.
Sure.
So my nap goes from what it should be, which is about 20 minutes, to what it shouldn't be, which is more like, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And then when I wake up, groggy, and
Yeah.
I'm angry, and I'm just
disgusting.
more
I just
tired.
Wake up horrible feeling. Like this
Yeah.
feeling
Yeah.
behind my eyes. It's bad.
Right.
Really
And
is.
so for those who, actually know about psychology and sleep and the brain, the reason why people say a 20-minute nap, like a power nap, is what you're supposed to take and you feel revitalized is actually because when you do sleep for 20 minutes, now I'm a little rusty on this knowledge, but the sleep cycle that everyone goes through, within 20 minutes, it's some scientifically proven way that the way your brain will shut down and kind of restore the way you are, and then you'll come back and you'll be a lot more energetic and at least a little bit more well rested. And the issue is, like Tommy was saying, when his naps go, for 40, 50 minutes, the issue then goes, the reason you're waking up tired is because,
You're waking up in
Right.
the middle of deep sleep.
right,
Right,
you were actually in the middle of your deepest sleep where you really shouldn't be woken up, and your body is, starting all the processes it does with sleep, like trying to clean and heal and do all that good stuff, and you're just waking up in the middle of it, It's just not good.
Yeah, well, with the 20-minute nap, it's, perfect because you get just down to the point where you're just starting deep sleep, and then you wake up. So you don't actually start deep sleep, but you go deep enough into the REM cycle
Like-
to have an actually
Well,
revitalized
REM is
sleep.
like kind of deep, but
No,
No.
REM sleep is the REM sleep cycle.
oh,
However-
you said cycle. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, that's napping.
Yeah. That's
and
napping
now,
101.
right.
Right.
Now napping, I guess, kind of ties along with taking breaks and doing work and getting stressed. And I think another thing that people really need to remember is that teachers are people. I think a lot of people don't,
Yeah.
like a lot of students really don't realize that. And
Yeah.
and this is important not just for work, but throughout your entire high school career is,
They're there for you.
Yeah,
They're there
yeah.
to help you.
and you should talk to them. If you are extremely stressed, if you are dealing with some sort of mental health issue, or you're just really stressed and
You're
tired
having a
and
breakdown.
can't do it. Exactly.
Right,
If you're having a breakdown, you can talk to the teachers. A lot of teachers, even if they might, they might not give you an extension on the project or, whatever you're working on, but at least then you've made yourself open
If you
to
can,
them.
yeah, if you can open up to them,
Yeah.
like you probably won't get like
And not
sick
even,
or anything,
know.
but they'll know and they'll
Right.
understand.
Yeah, you're not
They
talking about your feelings to them. They
No.
just
No.
understand that
Yeah.
you were stressed out, and they'll be like, "Okay, I was in high school too before." I get
Yeah, and they'll maybe find more ways
Like
to even
maybe a
help you
slide.
more than you would need help.
Or they might not. But
Yeah.
it's still an important
Well, yeah,
step.
yeah.
Right.
You
They
know,
might not. We
a lot
can't
of-
speak a lot. I'm saying a lot of the teachers might, but this isn't a foolproof way. You can't use this way to get
Yeah,
out of
no.
assignments.
No.
We are
Don't do
saying
that.
Yeah.
it's important to create some sort of relationship with your teacher in which you can talk to them and be open with them, especially when you're struggling with work. I am the worst person when it comes to work because I never ask for help and I think I can do it on my own, which I can't a lot of the times when it comes to certain work. And so it's important to talk to your teachers about that and, to really show them that even if you're struggling, if you talk to them about what's going on, then at least they'll know that you're trying and that you're not just slacking off and getting bad grades, but you could be working.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the times, if teachers see you putting in the effort, they'll let you slide on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. I know, shout out to the math department. They're there spending their frees, being there for students who need the help. Like, I know a lot of math teachers there, and I don't remember the number of the room, but they usually spend their frees in that room. If a student needs help and is feeling stressed, they can go there and they could work more and they could figure out a problem with the teachers. Like, that's something that I don't think a lot of students use, but should definitely be using more.
I think there's that big, white laminated sign with all the support periods.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's near
Actually
the,
look at it.
The teachers will be there for you if
Right.
you
Yeah.
need them.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big stigma with going to extra help with teachers.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that I've at least talked about this with some people, that there's just been a big thing against going for extra help, when in reality, that's what the teachers are there for.
Yeah.
They're there to teach us and help us. And I doubt any teacher at Blindbrook is against someone and, wants to fail them. A lot of them, I should say all of them, want to help us. So the whole stigma against going for extra help really is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I know at least part of that is that it's seen as almost like a sign of weakness. You're not getting the subject, you have to go for extra help. What are you, stupid? But no, it's natural to not get something right away, and the teachers understand it, and they want to help you. They're teachers for a reason. They're high school teachers because they want to be.
Yeah, nobody was like, man, I hate kids. You know what I'm gonna be? A teacher.
Yeah, like they want to help you. Like I know, some teachers, one of their favorite things is when a student comes to them and says, I have no idea what we're doing, please help me. And they're able to work with them and work that out. But also, one word of caution with that, don't go to a teacher the day before the test and say, I have no idea what this unit is about. Because then that tells them that you just didn't care and you're just, worried that you're not going to get a bad grade on the test, So just don't be fake about it.
Be honest with them. Honesty is the best policy when it comes to talking with your teachers. As long as you're honest, you'll get help. You'll get reassurance. You'll get something out of it if you're honest.
The teachers will see that you really want their help and they really want to work, so they'll really want to help you.
Yeah.
I said it before. They're there for you.
Yeah, they are there to help you. They are one of if not the best resource that Blindbrook has is our teachers. Our teachers are amazing.
Definitely, yeah. Absolutely.
Shout out to the Blindbrook staff.
Yeah.
All of them collectively.
You're the real MVP.
Yeah. Even I know I haven't done this, but I've seen people who have done this. Say you're having just a lot of trouble in this class, and you just need help. Maybe you don't like that teacher so much, but maybe you go to another teacher. Say you're in the math department and you don't like your current teacher too much, but last year you loved your teacher. You got along great with them, so you go to them and they try to help you, and they can at least try to set you up for it.
Yeah, if anything, every teacher, even if they can't help you, they'll definitely go as far as they can to try. No teacher will give up on you. No teacher will be like, I can't help you, go away.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're not going to be like that. They don't ever think that.
And at the very least, they will help you calm down. They will help you, get in control of the situation. So you're not just, running around the school screaming, wondering what you're going to do with your life after you fail all your tests.
Yeah, you can do that if you want. I don't think the school would take it very nicely, but...
And I feel like you might, worry a couple people.
Right, but we all deal with stress how we do.
Yeah. And if that's what's best for you, then hey,
good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah. The teachers want to be there to help you. They don't want you to leave stressed. They want you to leave happy.
With knowledge.
With knowledge. Knowledge is key.
Power.
Yes. And also going off of that, being friends with your teachers is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It's great for you. It makes it that much easier, to go in and get help. It makes it so much easier on them as well, because, then they don't have to worry about you as much. They know that they know that you will come to them if you need help. So it's really a win-win, scenario. There's no downsides really to being friends with your teachers.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I know there are some people who they didn't like the class, but they really liked the teacher, and because they liked the teacher so much, they actually ended up doing more work and actually participated more and just interacted more with the teacher and the class itself because they liked the teacher. There's no downside into liking your teacher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't just like tell somebody to like somebody that they
Well,
don't
no.
like.
True.
No,
Like,
but
if you can, just do it.
yeah,
Right, yeah.
try to make the effort. Oh, and also this is a great point for especially underclassmen with being friends with the teachers is because you will need to ask them for recommendation forms for college,
True. Very
Yeah,
true.
that is true. Yeah.
and so having more options for that is just so much better. And if your
Yeah.
teacher likes you and they're writing you a recommendation, it will just be a better letter of recommendation.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
regardless of how you really did in the class. Like if they
Yeah.
liked you, they see that you're working or you're trying, like that will make their recommendation just so much easier for them to write and so much better for you.
Yeah, it's mainly teachers that can attest to what kind of person you are. And
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
are the teachers that would be able to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
I think that's enough for studying in classes, and we should probably move into
Social life
Social
and
life and
friendship.
friends.
Now, I think before we get into this, we should preface this whole section by saying the five of us are by no means most likely the most average of people
Yeah.
you will find at Blindbrook, but at the same time, there really isn't an average person. I think everyone has little bits to them. A lot of people like to just throw a blanket over this town and call it the Blindbrook bubble.
Snowflake.
Yeah, we're all a unique snowflake a little bit. So I think just to preface this, we are one little niche friend group that is
we're just
here.
one grain of
So we would
sand.
be biased,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
So we are.
We're all
this is-
friends.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are all very good friends in this group. And we also have friends outside of this group.
Right.
But
Yes.
we are extremely good friends. We've been together for a long time. And
This is more just our perception of Blindbrook and kind of how we seem to have gotten through all these years as friends
yeah.
and enemies.
Well,
hate
more
you,
so
man.
friends.
Well, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Just remember that one, boys.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
So, I think, I guess just to get the ball rolling, I said, we're our own niche, and I think that's really important to have, not just at Blindbrook, but anywhere, is if you find, those few people, I mean, that's kind of how you're gonna make friends.
I mean, the obvious note is find, I don't want to say click, but find similar people, you know?
Right. And I think especially for Blindbrook is just don't try when you're doing that. Just don't try to get swept up with what everyone else is doing. Don't try to be yourself because in the end, when it really comes down to it, like the friends that, you need for support and, when you need friends for all those things that aren't so positive that you need friends for, it's better to have people that actually know you and care for you rather than people who are just kind of going along with the flow and everyone's doing the same thing and everyone's, a carbon copy of each other.
Instead of having all these tons of friends that you're not very close to, have a few very close friends at least that you can rely on.
You don't need to be close with every single person in the school.
No.
Like, there's no, I mean...
Sure, it might be difficult too
Yeah.
with the size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, have like your top four, I mean...
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, have a couple really close friends that you can go to, say at 2 a.m. because you're having a mental breakdown and you just need someone to vent to. Like, even if they're just, like,
Venting.
sitting there.
Venting is a thing you will
Oh
do
my
a
God.
lot. Venting is a thing that
Venting
you
isn't
need.
really healthy, though. It
I mean-
depends
I mean-
if you
I
do
mean,
it.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
It can help, And so sometimes you just need that. Sometimes you just need that 2 a.m. venting to someone. Even if they're just, like, they're receiving your messages, say, like, they're just receiving it and they're just, like, giving you the occasional, like, thumbs up, it'll all be okay message along with it. Like, sometimes you just need to get it all out there.
You need to hear that.
Just having someone who
Yeah.
will listen to you is an important step. Whether it's with friends or even, certain teachers you could probably talk to if you
absolutely.
need.
Absolutely. So, being real with your friends, don't not be yourself. with your friends, because then you're not really friends. You're just people who are.
I mean, aside from being there for like the mental health part, how friends can help you study. Friends can help you like learn a class.
Right.
I know, for example, I suck at pre-calc. Like I don't understand any of it.
He helped the same guy that you're talking about help me through trigonometry.
Exactly. One of our close friends. Should we say his name?
Connor Deutsch.
Connor Deutsch. Connor Deutsch. If it wasn't for him and the combined help of Miss Seeger, I wouldn't have a passing grade in pre-calc. Like Connor being there when I need him to like just tell me the basic principles of math got me like there. It got me to pass. It helps. Having friends who know things help.
Even outside of academics, I mean, I'm a huge part of the theater at Blindbrook.
Blindbrook Theater.
That is a huge just mingling of grades. And I really think over the years it's kind of transformed into just this like, hey, who are you? That's cool. We're all friends
It's a very
now.
open place.
It's a very, healthy place. And I think, I can't speak to a lot of the sports teams, but I think there are a lot of ways that you can find people and make friends at Blindbrook. I mean, it might be difficult depending on who you are. We're, a very unique place, and if you don't fit into the norm, it might be difficult. But there are a lot of ways that you can reach out and find people that are like you, because I'm sure there are some very, very weird people at school that people might just have no idea about.
Yeah.
And, they might seem normal and all, but hey, maybe they're extremely creative and weird and maybe a little crazy, but it's all fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, so we've said, find people who relate to you, who understand you, and who like you for who you are. But also, you don't have to, like, only be friends with, a certain number of people. You can also branch out and, have those, loose friendships with people that maybe you just sit with at lunch. And, that's your whole friendship. And that's great, too. You can have
Not
friends.
everybody needs to be your best friend.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you can have friends outside of your, your core circle of friends. You can be within different niches, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think bringing it back to something that I was talking about, how there are a lot of opportunities to make friends. Just kind of tying that in, something we didn't really touch on is extracurriculars, because that is pretty big at Blindbrook. A lot of people do extracurriculars. Me, I do theater. Like I said, great way to meet new people, and it's a great way to kind of get involved in just, a thing at school. It's really time consuming, but it's a great thing to do. And another thing are clubs. There are a ton of clubs. I can speak to it. I've been vice president of Pride Club for 2 years. And it's a great way to bring in people that are there for a specific reason. So I
Yeah.
think that's what really helps with making friends and going to clubs, is because you're there with all these other people, and you're there because you're interested in the same thing.
Yeah,
For example,
exactly.
Pride Club, we deal with the LGBT community and, education and awareness and all that stuff. So if you want to make friends with some upperclassmen, you want to know, who are allies and all this great stuff, you can go to
Pride
a
Club.
club meeting
Yeah.
and find all that out. Or for people like HR, Human Relations Club, that's a huge thing at Blindbrook.
No.
Personally, I don't understand why, but I've never been in the club. I don't really know what they do. I'm not going to talk about them in any sort of way, but there are a lot of people that join that club, and, we know people who have been in it, and they, know all these under and other upperclassmen that you might not get to know. So I think clubs are really, and other extracurriculars like sports and whatnot are a good way to make friends and meet new people and just get involved in something that isn't school.
Yeah, and also with that, sports. Not a lot of us here have been on sports teams, but I have. I was on ski team for several years, and quick shout out to Mr. Floor for being a great coach to that every year. But so sports teams are also a great thing to do. They keep you active. Maybe sometimes during the school year you get busy. You don't want to work out, and you end up just not. I know I'm guilty of that. So it's a great way to keep yourself active. It's a great way to keep make sure you get out of the house every once in a while. And again, it's a great way to meet some new people. Again, even if they're just friends that you hang out with, while you're doing sports, it's still another friend that you can go to, and another friend that you can say you have. And again, also, there are leadership opportunities with clubs, not clubs, with sports, as in clubs. There's not normally quite as many. There's, say 2 or 3 captains that are normally seniors. But they're still there. There's still good opportunities, and they still look good for, college applications, stuff like that. And also, one of the great things about sports and ski team in particular is gym exemptions. So if you're a varsity athlete and you're a senior, then you don't have to go to gym. As long as you have your coach and the current athletic director sign a piece of form.
It's not to say that physical education is a valueless class.
No.
It is very fun, and I think an important part of that is you gotta make it fun if you want to have fun.
Yeah.
But
Yes, exactly.
could save that for another time.
But you could get it free, so that's pretty
Yeah.
valuable.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, frees are extremely valuable. Say, it gives you an extra period to have lunch in. Maybe it's a better time frame to have lunch in. Maybe your gym is like 5th period and your normal lunch period is, 8th. It's just might be just better timing to have lunch then. And again, it's, another free period to study, maybe hang out with your friends and decompress. So it just gives you more options, more flexibility, more things you can do with your time.
Well, now that we're done here, I hope all you listeners enjoyed that wonderful discussion about tips and tricks of surviving high school.
Not only surviving, but also thriving, especially at Blindbrook. So yeah, we hope all this information about academics, all your course selections, what APs you could do, you could hope you take our advice when it comes to dealing with stress, sleep, all that stuff that we talked about.
It's all here for you.
It's important. And if you want to learn more, you could do your own research. There's a lot websites out there you could look up. You could just Google in.
Even go to your school library and find books.
Find a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or on specific topics like sleep. Miss Hensley is a great resource for stuff like that.
Right. There are teachers at school who can help you with all this stuff. And we hope our advice on social life, although, I don't know how true it may be. I don't know how
We hope it serves
effective.
Yeah.
But
perspective. We hope
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
gives perspective.
Hopefully you learn from this. Yeah.
And while we didn't always do all of these things that we're talking about, like, managing our time properly, going to sleep when we should before a test, not all of us were always good about that. But, looking back, it's much easier to see that we should have been doing that all along. So,
right.
don't make the same mistakes we did.
Yeah.
We
All
all
right.
make mistakes.
Everybody makes
Everybody
mistakes.
makes
mistakes.
Everybody has those days. Anyway, this is 5 Dudes Discuss, signing off. Have a good time.
Bye.
Bye.